I just have no words for this. Good morning and welcome to the channel, and I'm back at British Motor Museum at Gaydon for Rustival 2, and as I mentioned in the previous coverage, the last Rustival, I was going to try and come in the Esprit, and indeed there it is sitting behind me. It's run okay, just this last little bit queuing to get in it wasn't particularly happy with. But you know, that's old engines for you, I guess, with carburetors and whatnot. Still not quite tuned how I'd want it to be, but we'll see how we get on. Anyway, I'm looking forward to today, seeing what else is about. Last time I did comment that there was probably more of the everyman classic cars around, which, you know, is fine. Not necessarily my thing, but I'm going to see what else is about today and see if there's anything that I particularly like. A couple of nice colourful vehicles here. The Scimitar and I guess an LDV or Freight Rover Sherpa minibus. Now, I spent quite a bit of time in Sherpa minibuses as a teenager, like school minibus and youth groups and whatnot. Never anything quite like this one. Quite a thing. Yeah. Now, by no means any kind of expert on American cars. This is a DeSoto. Not really for me, but just look at it. It is a beauty, isn't it? I can't imagine me having one of these, but or at least I'd not know where to put it. It's so huge. But the shapes and the design are just fantastic, aren't they? So I'll just pick out this 928. Porsche 928, this is an S4. So a friend of mine has a 928, an early one, a 79, and he also has just acquired a 928 GT, which is very similar to this, to the S4. My understanding is just a little bit better equipped in bits and pieces, and it's manual typically. Another car I know very little about, but just picking it out because it's a little bit unusual. A Wartburg Knight, small two-stroke engine. Our brown car of the day, BMW 3 Series. I'm not up on the model numbers. Is this an E30 or is this the one before that? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not particularly up on it, but it's quite a nice example nonetheless. So I'm here having a look at what UK barn finds have brought, and they brought this. It's a Falcon kit car based on Citroën 2CV6 mechanicals, and I don't know if it'd be uncharitable to say it's like a poor man's Caterham or Westfield, obviously based on a Lotus 7. It's front wheel drive, sadly, but apparently you can get them round sideways if you really want to. Bit of fun, I guess, for not a lot of money. And I think their plan is to get it running. I ought to really be picking out sports cars and GT cars given my channel name, but here's an interesting one. Not usually into Citroëns, but I do quite like these traction Avants. And if this is which one this is, the Light 15, is it? Citroën 12. It's 1936. It is a right-hand drive though, sort of UK, possibly UK built one. Built them in Slough, I think they did. But yeah, just I don't know, something about this shape. I think after that I wasn't really a big fan of what Citroën have done. Dare I say that I don't actually like the DS or anything like that, but these are quite cool. And these might well be 10 a penny these days, but actually well worth a little bit of attention. These early ones, the fried egg headlights, particularly if you can get one that hasn't been updated, because a lot of them were updated because people didn't like the fried eggs. But I think that's what makes them now. But yeah, what are they? Less than £5 if you want. This one I suspect would be a little bit more if you wanted to buy it. It's a bit better condition. A lovely M5 next to it. That's quite a beast, isn't it? It's an unusual car you don't see many of. Lancia Thema. And yeah, what was I saying about the fried eggs? These ones have been replaced with clear glass. So I love the colour on this GR86, the Toyota. Quite a kind of look from this angle, quite a squat little car. Doesn't look very long. So it's quite a compact one, but yeah, nice look. Just a quick word about this Golf. It's Mark 1 Golf. It's actually a GTI, but it's quite sort of subdued for a GTI. Apparently that's how she got it 20 odd years ago. As featured in, I think, Bangers and Cash Restoring Classics not long ago. So I was looking at that American car earlier. Obviously, it's a bit of inspiration taken here, but this is very much a UK car, a Vauxhall Cresta. But, obviously, they've taken a lot of the design cues and styling cues from the American cars, even down to the white wall tyres. Okay, here's a sports car. Jaguar E-Type. It's the S Series 2. Looking pretty immaculate. Let's have a look at the engine. Beautiful. So straight six. 3 SU carbs, triple carbs.
This is a US car.
So apologies if I've picked a car like this out before, but I just love these Siroccos. I think they're the Mark II, aren't they? Sirocco. This one's got those Pirelli P wheels. Yeah, just nice. Same designer as the Esprit. Yeah, another Citroën Traction Avant. Beautiful colour, this one. Yeah, another Vauxhall Cresta. Don't think I've ever seen one before, and they're selling this too, yeah. Another pretty rare car, NSU Row 80. Very distinctive noise. I think it's a two-stroke, isn't it? I recently tweeted about the Citroën SM, it's a Maserati engine Citroën. I saw one in a back road in London, so near Waterloo. And very much not my thing, but there's a huge amount of love for these. There's 3 parking zones at Rustival. There's this parking here, which is the Vanden Plas parking, which is if you get in really early. And I don't know, usually you'd think if you got something special or if you're part of a club or something, but there's all sorts in there. Then there's this upper level parking here, also display parking, known as Mayfair parking. And then there's just the visitor parking, which is kind of over the back there. But it's a long drive around, but then you can come into the show in the walkway at the back there. So this little 2-car setup is probably pretty representative of Rustival. You've got Humber, is that a Snipe? And whatever that is. But it's just all sorts of things here. There's no particular theme other than anything goes. Bizarre cars and ordinary cars. So I must confess that as an Essex boy, I kind of quite like this. This was about my era of maybe these and the Mark 1s, the XR2s. It's always quite fancied one. Still do now, to be fair. So I know this is just a Vauxhall Cavalier in a pretty dress, but I have got a bit of a soft spot for the Vauxhall Calibra. I actually had one for a while as a company car, so I got into a position where I got promoted, and so I was eligible for a company car. But before I could choose my own, I had to use whatever was in the pool, in the spare cars. And so there was one of these. I think it was a Citroën Estate, and then some kind of diesel car or other. So needless to say, as a 25-year-old, I chose one of these. So here we go, here's something a bit special. Lotus Exige 410 Sport. They're lovely cars and I'd love to own one, but sadly I can't actually get in. The legroom or just the geometry of getting in isn't so straightforward for me. Now call me presumptuous, but I've got a feeling that this guy is into touring cars. Now something a bit different. The DAF 55. Converted to rally spec, represented Netherlands. Say one thing though, there's a lot more colourful cars than you get if this was a new car park. Yeah, kind of lime yellows, lime greens, reds, blues. So these are a little bit Marmite, but nonetheless rare. Alfa Romeo Zagato. Kind of weird shape, but definitely distinctive. It's a nice little MGA, been fitted with like a racing screen. Imagine how would have been interesting coming here. Maybe the guy would have worn goggles or some such. Got a feeling I picked out this car last time. I do like these Caymans and the sort of earlier Boxsters. I've seen a couple of new Alpines, but here's an older one. 610. rear engine, you can see it there. See it in the rear window there, hanging out over the rear wheels. Now everyone wants a fastback Mustang, but these notchbacks or just the standards I just think there's still something about them. I did drive one. It wasn't the best example though, as it turns out, so it's a little bit loose, but yeah, interesting thing. Okay, so 1977 TVR 3000M, nice looking thing. So fiberglass body. It's got the Ford 3-litre V6 engine, the Essex, so the same as in Capris and Scimitars and Transits, all sorts of things. But yeah, nice looking car. And these are a lovely thing. Lancia Stratos, I can only imagine it's not real because so few of them are. Would have had the originals, would have had the Fiat Dino engine, or Ferrari Dino engine, I guess it was, sorry, in the rear. But yeah, I'm assuming that's not one, particularly given the registration. Porsche 924. These are cheap as chips as well at the moment. I reckon they'd be quite a good buy. Quite like the wheels, sort of teledial wheels. There's so many of these around, I'd be tempted to sort of turn it into like a safari, a Dakar look. That'd be really something. Yeah, look at this. There's another red wedge has found its way alongside my car. Another TVR. What are these? These are 350, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. There's two more cars that typify Rustival. A brown Allegro Vandenplas and Mark 1 MX-5 in what I can only describe as glittery purple and heart-shaped indicator repeaters. There's another TVR. It's an S3, very similar to the 3000M. Now, back when cars had really long names, a standard flying light 12 drop head coupe. I'm guessing you don't see many of those around anymore. Okay, there are a few sports cars. I'm quite impressed actually, compared to last time. Some Marcos. So we have one of these in Olympic blue. Probably back in the late 70s, early 80s as a family car. Definitely wasn't the V6 3 litre though. It's a 1.6L. Okay, here we are. Yeah, so this is pretty much, so I think ours was an M registration, so similar age. Also had the vinyl roof, 4-door, 1600. Is this an L? I think this might be an L. Don't think our hubcaps were quite that shiny. And yeah, Olympic blue. It didn't have leather seats either or vinyl seats. Oh no, actually it did have vinyl seats. Oh, hang on. Okay, this is the XL, so it's a bit more special, but no, it did have vinyl seats. I remember that on hot days. It's a nice little pairing. And Alfa Romeo Spider, I think this is a Series 2 Coda Tronca or Camtail. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be, that'll be my pick for the day so far. That'll be the one I really like to drive home in. And then alongside it, a Mark II Jaguar. Very nice. So what's this there? 3.4 litre. Lovely thing, very popular classic because they're just so comfortable to get in and out of as for a person of more advancing years, and very smooth drive. It's a car that you probably guarantee not to have seen before or even know what it would be without looking it up. A Mitsubishi Galoo. based on a Nissan Crew, which is a car popularised by taxi drivers in Japan. As previously mentioned, although I can see it, I really don't get it. So although this is a national show, it has a kind of feel of a provincial show, a little kind of area, regional, local show in places. So you've got people setting up deck chairs and tables behind their cars and happy to just sit with their car and chat to people as they come past. So there's no pressure here, it's just a kind of an easygoing, relaxed kind of show. No one's revving the nuts out of their engines or anything like that. Oh, here we go. I'm drawn. So, Land Rover Lightweight. It's the Series 3 FFR fitted for radios. It's got these big long whip aerials on the nose, on the wings. So a bit of interest in these Fiat Pandas, these Mark 1 Fiat Pandas, especially this one, the 4x4. So I was in northern Italy on holiday, and they're everywhere. The 4x4s are everywhere in and around Garda. Of course, most people would be walking past this thinking, oh, it's just another MGB GT, but it's not. I'm feeling that's the MGC. The bonnet bulge. It's a nice example as well. Lovely colour on this SLK. Same colour as the SL 350 that I had. Another Porsche 928. This one's a 928S, about 83. Similar condition to my friends. I guess it's usually a bit rough and they're probably at the point where they're not quite worth restoring unless you're doing it yourself at the moment. Values aren't coming up that massively. So there we go, another visit to Rustival number 2. And I think there's probably more cars of interest to me, more sports cars, more GT cars than previously, which is good. There's still all of the everyman classics and something a bit unusual, and they're downright weird, to be fair. But it's still a good day. So I'm assuming they're going to be running Rustival 3 or whatever next year, and I can thoroughly recommend that you come along, because there's bound to be at least a few things that you find interesting. But if you're into just everyday classics, you'll find loads. You'll love it. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. See you again next time. Bye bye.